I got the bloodlust. Me too. I want to kill. Let's kill.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to The Bloodlust. This is your go-to podcast for classy broads talking horror since 2014. This is episode 254 of the program. Tonight we are discussing In a Violent Nature, a stripped-down artsy slasher. Joining me, as always, is my lovely and talented co-host, Jamie. Hello, friend.
Hello.
I think I might have a bit of a nasally voice today. I was cleaning out the garage, well, mostly helping Kay. She was doing all the work.
Oh,
and
sure.
The dust and dirt and stuff is making me a little stuffy, so sorry about that.
No worries. You're sorry to me about that? The
Well,
of times I've been out here with a plugged up or stuffy nose.
I suppose that's so. But they might not be used to listening to it from me.
Touche. That might be true.
Oh, I wanted to tell you, this is not horror related, but listeners, you might be interested. I started watching Hacks. I'm on like episode 10.
I am interested in that because I binged the shit out of that show.
Did you finish it?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay.
It took hardly any time at all. I
well,
loved
they're
it
only
so
like
much.
25 minutes long.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, it took hardly any time.
She just keeps making such stupid choices.
Of course she does. But like,
I know she's only 25, but Jesus Christ.
No, of course. She's a dumb 25-year-old. But goddamn, do I love Jean Smart.
Me too. It's really
She's
nice to see
so
a vehicle
awesome
for
in
her.
this.
She's so
Yes.
cool. So cool.
And so funny. And I feel like the show just like keeps getting better.
Well, I'll see.
Yeah.
We're liking it so far.
Yeah, highly recommend to
Hacks
anyone
is on
listening.
Max if you listeners are interested. It's funny. It's about a kind of a stand-in for Joan Rivers, a comedian that started out, had a shot at hosting, being the first female host of a late-night show, and then lost it, just like Joan Rivers.
Yep.
Who was doing like a Vegas residency.
And it's got lots of fun cameos. Like, well, he's not a cameo, but the guy who plays Shooter McGavin, who I really like.
Shooter McGavin, yeah.
He's in it. And then the actress who plays Jackie and Roseanne, she'll be in it in the second season for a handful of episodes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love Laurie Metcalf.
That's her name. But yeah, it's I loved it. It was so funny. It was a great recommendation from our friend Becky.
Well, thanks, Becky. I got into it because Jamie recommended it, so thank you.
Passing it on.
Yeah. So, a slasher. Neither your nor my favorite genre of horror. Subgenre, that is.
Correct.
I mostly like psychological or supernatural horror. Mostly just things that are very weird.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same as that, which is weird because you like a lot of movies. I don't, but we're generally in the same sort of genre.
I think so. And we both love found footage very much.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Slashers, very hit or miss for me.
Same. And since this is a slasher that we're reviewing tonight, I thought I would ask you about your favorite slasher villain. Of course, we've got the big guys, the Michael Myerses, the Jasons is, the Freddy Kruegers is, the Billy Loomises.
So if we're talking about a slasher villain, are we talking about just like one baddie who is the main killer of multiple people, like multiple characters throughout a movie?
How else would we define it?
I don't know. I don't know if like people would define slasher as someone who's just very stabby. I guess Jason wasn't always just stabby.
No, slasher villains use a variety of weaponry.
Okay, great. I mean, again, not my favorite genre, so my familiarity with it is just, I just don't love them. But anyways, I think by that definition and those rules, I would want to lean towards the Terrifier movies.
Oh, okay. Art the Clown.
Art the Clown being the villain of those movies. Simply because they're also incredibly fun. Not saying that the Jason and Halloween movies aren't, but the Terrifier movies are in a way that those two like franchises aren't. There's something about Art the Clown that is very just like captivating. He's just a very interesting, like compelling and weird looking character.
And he's funny.
And he makes like funny facial expressions and does weird things. And plus the kills are so over the top. And I appreciate that. And isn't there a new one coming up?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is, because I think it's on my list, and I'm very excited for it. So in terms of like, yeah, slasher type villains that I really like and I look forward to seeing again, Art the Clown is that. I mean, I've rewatched Terrifier a handful of times.
Have you?
I don't generally do that with slasher movies.
What about the sequel?
I've seen that maybe a couple. I think it's maybe not exactly as good as the first one, but I don't know. I guess it's up there. They're pretty equal in my opinion.
That's interesting. I didn't think that we liked it as much as the original when we reviewed it.
I think when I rewatched it, I liked it better.
Interesting.
Like,
well,
I was able to sort of step back and just take it as a fun movie.
Instead of comparing it so much to the first.
Instead of, yeah. Like, it just was more entertaining. I wasn't taking it as seriously, which I would gather is probably going to be the case with a lot of movies when we review them, just based on the first viewing. It's like, sometimes it's hard to go by just that, because sometimes with a second sitting, you're not trying to critique it and analyze it as much.
That's true.
And you're able to just enjoy the movie, and then you realize, like, oh, okay, this maybe does have more positive qualities than I gave it the first time around.
Or
some are
maybe
hot garbage from the beginning, like the one we did last time.
I mean, I think sometimes too, it's that your expectations have been built up.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that things don't maybe live up to them.
Yep.
And so that can play a part. I'd kind of be interested in watching I Saw the TV Glow again, just to see if it works better for me.
I
know
like
you
I'm
wouldn't.
pretty confident that's not one that's going to improve upon a second watch.
It just works so well for so many people, and I don't understand why it didn't work for me.
I feel like a lot of things, like a number of things, work so well for a lot of people that I'm just big question mark about.
I know, but it just had all the hallmarks of something that I would like.
Yeah, I would say it's probably worth you rewatching a second time to see the anger and like frustration and desire to flee that I felt during my watching of that movie will never allow me to see it again. So there's that.
Listeners, I'd really love to hear what you guys thought about I Saw the TV Glow. I would love to hear.
Yeah, what did Amy miss?
What did I miss? I don't know.
Is there a certain drug she needs to take before she watches it? Like, does she need to be in a particular state of mind before it hits just right?
I'm willing to do these things.
Sure.
I want to enjoy every movie. Of course.
I don't know. I'll be honest. There are some I like hating on a movie sometimes. that one just, I think it was because I had to drive out to Emma Jean Novi and see it in the theater. And there were loud kids in there at first, and then they left.
Okay.
And then the movie sucked. And it was just like, I was just mad. But the movie still sucked.
Didn't you see a movie where there was somebody jerking off? Or no, they were having sex. That's right.
Oh, yes.
That's right. I remember now.
I can't even remember what movie that was, but I've absolutely seen that. Oh my God. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. So my answer to the round table.
Oh, yes.
Is Billy from Black Christmas.
Okay. It's a good one.
Because I have never been scared of a slasher except for that one. And the character of Billy is scary in that.
Is it the voice?
It's specifically the phone calls, yeah.
Sure, of course.
And the scene where he's peeking through the crack in the door.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And just the idea of the first person perspective at the beginning and throughout the movie of him just like climbing into their attic and everything.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
But most specifically the phone calls. I remember when I first watched that movie, which was very late, not until college, we rewound it and listened to all the phone calls again so we could try and glean more about the story, because I love that that's all that you get.
Remember
about the
terrible
killer.
The Black Christmas remake was?
Oh, it was so bad.
Such horseshit. Hot garbage movie.
Yeah, that was really bad. It was really
Another
bad.
movie that just made me mad. But yes, that's a great choice, because I remember the first time I saw that, the creepiest part was just the voice. The phone calls.
Yeah, and the little weird hints of what might have gone on in his life that led him to this.
Yes.
So that's my choice. Other choices I would say that are good would be Maniac. The Maniac from Maniac. I don't remember his name. I think it's Frank something.
Yeah, see,
either the original or the remake.
Okay, yeah.
Although in the remake, he feels so conflicted and sad about it.
Is that the Elijah Wood one? Because
yes.
That movie shouldn't have made me love Elijah Wood more. Like,
he's not even in it, really.
No, but I was just like, God, I love you. Like, I feel for you. It's okay. I wanted to give him a hug.
I think that there are two classic slasher villains that deserve a mention. One is Norman Bates.
Sure.
It's such a good performance from Anthony Perkins and so creepy and
it
unsettling.
Definitely is.
And he does such a good job of putting you at ease and not and thinking he's harmless and likable and everything. And then to be able to turn in the last scene and have that creepy little. Well, yeah. So that one, and also the guy from Peeping Tom, whose name, of course, I also don't know because I'm bad at character names. Have you ever seen Peeping Tom, Jamie?
I don't know that I have.
Oh, it's great. It came out maybe a little bit.
Maybe I did a long time ago.
Came up maybe a little bit after Psycho, and it's about a photographer that kills. He has a camera that kills people.
Okay, if I've seen it, it's been a while.
It's really cool and really stylish and a very suspenseful movie.
Okay.
I don't have a ton of love for modern slashers, so this is my way around, a way of answering the question without getting into any modern ones. There aren't really any slasher villains in modern movies that I find especially compelling. Maybe the guy from Wolf Creek, he was pretty unsettling.
Yeah, I liked that one. I'm trying to think, was your next just one person?
No, it was a group of people.
That's right, it was a group. I just wanted to find a way to bring up your next in another episode.
I think about it regularly because the song from it comes up on my phone a lot.
It's due for a rewatch, to be honest.
There's a new movie coming out pretty soon with Dan Stevens that looks like it might be good, called Cuckoo.
Yes. Oh, you mentioned that beforehand. I didn't know that was the one with him, but I knew he was going to be in one coming up. And I do enjoy him. He's dreamy.
He sure is. He sure is. So listeners, let us know some of your favorite slasher villains. Who do you like? The guy from My Bloody Valentine has a cool costume.
Sweet.
I hear Angela from Sleepaway Camp mentioned a lot, but the actual character of Angela is just annoying to me.
Right.
Because she never talks or says anything or does anything to stand up for herself. And you don't actually see her doing any of the killing.
Yeah.
So to me, it's an interesting character from a slasher, but I don't think she's like a good villain.
No, I wouldn't.
Although the kills are creative and fun. Sleepaway Camp's fun. There's an Easter egg in this movie by somebody from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh,
the lady who picks up Chris at the end is played by Lauren Marie Taylor, who played Vicky in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I have a note about
that scene?
The scene with her. Yes.
Well, why don't we get into the movie? Let's start talking about it in a violent nature. Jamie, would you like to give us the stats for this film?
Sure. All right. Well, this film is not rated. It has a runtime of 1 hour, 34 minutes. I love that. Written and directed by Chris Nash. It stars Barrett, Andrea Pavlovic, and Cameron Love. Premiered at Sundance Film Festival, January 22nd, 2024. Released in theaters May 31st, 2024. And it is currently sitting on Rotten Tomatoes at 81% fresh for critics and 43% fresh for audience. Interesting.
Isn't it?
Yes,
I thought that was interesting, too.
I just noticed that. Like, that's a big gap.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, I didn't think that the crowd that I saw would like
Honestly,
it very much. They were very quiet.
I told you it was just me, and the crowd loved it. The crowd laughed multiple times.
So what's this about? You've probably heard that this is a slasher that is from the point of view of the killer. Now, it is not from the point of view of the killer the same way Maniac is, with actual point of view shots. It's not a point of view movie like Halloween is, with actual point of view shots, or the beginning of Black Christmas, like we talked about. It's sort of like watching a video game.
I was just going to say it's playing third-person video game. Like,
yeah, because you're mostly just watching him walk around from behind him. Mm-hmm. They don't like to show his face very much because it's part of the, scares. So you're mostly just looking at a giant dude's back as he walks through the woods. So what is the plot? Well, it's a very light plot. It has to do with an amulet or a locket that was removed from a spot that it was evidently in to keep this guy in his grave.
Sure.
These kids are camping in this area and they take a locket. It was in a fire tower. And they talk about some killings that happened. You only kind of hear that from off out in the periphery. But they take this locket, and not very long after, a person who we will call Johnny climbs out of the earth and then just starts walking around and killing everybody he comes across in fun and creative ways. Mm-hmm. We don't get a lot of exposition dump. They do a couple things cleverly and not so cleverly to give it to us, but it's a very slight story. And honestly, slashers don't really need much of a story.
No.
They're
about the kills generally.
Yeah. There are no jump scares in this. There is no score, no stingers. It's just all ambient sound. They do get away with having like a few songs in it just because they're songs that the killer walks by and they're playing. And I think they use that to pretty creative ends. But that is what the movie is about. Not too many characters that are very memorable.
No, not
except for our guy Johnny.
Yeah, except for maybe him.
Jamie, what did your theater full of people think of In a Violent Nature?
I think we all really liked it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. This was surprisingly enjoyable. And I think I texted you or mentioned to you somewhere that like I learned about myself that the sound of somebody, a larger somebody, a heavier somebody, just walking through the woods is like ridiculously soothing. Because there's at least one scene where that goes on for quite a while. There's
a few scenes like that, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I think this was maybe early on before any sort of like action took place. Mm-hmm. And I definitely had a hard time like keeping my eyes open. Like that started to put me right out. It just sounded so nice. It just reminded me of walking through the woods. It was so
it was
peaceful.
Like going on a nice hike.
Yes. And like the scenery was so nice. There's so many beautiful shots in this.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it just makes the woods look so magical. But that aside, like, I thought this was actually a really fun kind of twist or a way to do a slasher movie where you're just sort of behind the killer all the time, or most of the time, just sort of watching what he's up to. Mm-hmm. There are some like realistically ridiculous moments where people are just straight up not noticing that he's there,
right there,
or that he's walking up to you or like walking around you. Like there's no way you wouldn't notice that stuff. But then again, like if you're familiar with the slasher franchises of old, like that's not atypical. Like
no,
it's people are often sort of just like characters are often wrapped up in their own sort of whatever's going on, conversation or whatever, and not paying attention to like the big lumbering fella who's like headed their way.
I mean, usually the success of the movie kind of hangs on that.
Exactly. So like I was pretty quickly able to like suspend my disbelief there and just kind of roll with it. Yeah. And then once the like killings started going, like it was very fun. Like, there were some creative ones. They were pretty funny. I liked that he was essentially just like a machine. Like, just move forward, find a person, kill him. Move forward, find the next person, kill him. There was no sort of like fanfare or anything. Outside of the part where they're all sitting around a campfire and he's sort of like stalking outside it along the tree line and doesn't come in towards them. But that may have been a strategic play by a killer and not wanting to go after a whole group. But we chatted about it. Amy and I did a little bit, and we share the same frustration with one specific kill that had a lot of potential and and greatly like shit the bed. I was very disappointed in that particular kill because
me too.
The buildup of it was there and the anticipation was there, and anyone who loves horror, like, kind of, I would imagine, had an idea of where that should go and what that should look like. And I think there were a lot of things wrong with that scene.
I agree. So
we can chat about that when we get into like spoiler territory. I think the dialogue of this movie was shit. Like, I think it was garbage, but I don't think anyone watching a sort of cool, fun slasher is looking for compelling.
Nah, not unless you're watching like
characters.
A Kevin Williamson one, like a Scream or something.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to judge it on that, but I did want to point out that it is noticeably terrible in some parts.
And it's good that you'd only hear it on the periphery.
Yeah, you're with the characters themselves like so seldomly that it's not a huge deal, but it's very noticeable when there's actual like dialogue.
That's
because
true.
I think like the acting is pretty rough in general, the delivery of certain lines. Yeah. But then again, as a horror connoisseur and someone who's seen a bunch of slashers, even though I don't love them, like that is par for the course for those types of movies. So like
it is.
It didn't feel unusual or unexpected. It was just kind of like, oh, here we are. Yeah, sure.
It might have almost been intentional.
It very well could have. And if it was, like, kudos, because
you nailed it.
You've nailed it. Like, well done. There, like, I think I mentioned earlier, like, there's some absolutely beautiful shots. Like, there's a shot kind of maybe towards the end of it or like 3/4 of the way through where he's walking through this like flower field and it's like dusk and he's not in the trees yet, but like the moon is kind of shining. Like, it is gorgeous.
It is.
And like the sound of it is beautiful. And I mean, I'm a sucker for a quality scene in the woods anyways.
Me too.
And this movie gave me all of that.
It was beautifully filmed.
Yeah, it really was. Like,
what'd you think of the aspect ratio?
I didn't think anything about the aspect ratio.
Did you not? You didn't notice?
No, not at all.
It was like a weird like square. It's 4:3 aspect ratio. It's the same as a VHS movie, which I think was also intentional.
I'm sure it was. I didn't even notice it because I was just kind of like sucked in and like, I don't know, just enjoying what I was seeing. I didn't even pick up on that.
Ah. Well, I got to show you something.
Yeah,
that's fun.
You sure did. I liked it a lot. There were some parts where I laughed like
Me too.
out loud because they were ridiculous. And then I like looked around to see if anyone else was laughing, remembering then quickly that I was the only one in the theater. And there were some ridiculous parts.
How about that locket flashback in the mirror? That made me laugh.
Yeah, it was so funny.
It was so corny.
It's so corny. I mean, I just think for trying to do something different with the slasher genre, it's not so different that it's like shocking, I guess, that like it's like, oh my god, this just like blows every other slasher out of the water. Like, everyone's got to see this. It's not like a huge thing, but it's like there are just enough changes and it's just enough compelling that it's almost like art house slasher.
It is an art house slasher, I think, for sure. Because
perfect.
The way that it's filmed, to me,
yes,
it felt like a Gus Van Sant movie or a Terrence Malick movie.
Okay, yeah, I think it has a lot of elements of an artsy fartsy type movie and a lot of elements of your classic slasher, like your classic B movie 80s slasher.
Yeah, I saw it as a slasher movie.
And I think they're blended really well.
Yeah, it's done through the lens of an art house film.
Yeah. I liked it. I think it worked nicely. Did it have some problems? Yeah, but like again, they can be easily forgiven because of just the genre of early slashers. And you can also like argue maybe it's just trying to pay homage to those early slashers and like
I think it was.
And
the characters
cheesiness.
Acted like characters in a slasher.
I mean, like outside of character acting,
way.
when we talk about some specifics, I have one specific scene that like really stuck in my brain. It's like, oh my God, was that intentional? Because like that's pretty obvious.
Okay.
But again, I think maybe this movie helped me have a bit more appreciation for the slasher genre because it allowed me to just sort of not be so critical and appreciate the corniness and the cheesiness that comes along with it. And whereas sometimes I'm in the mood and I can like that, but like overall it's hard for me to get to that place, this movie just sort of let me appreciate that it can be both like a really beautiful and like visually compelling thing, but also like incredibly campy and cheesy and not to be taken seriously. And it has quote unquote faults, whether or not they're intentional, but like they're easily forgiven because what's happening on screen ultimately is like got you enough that you're in it.
I was surprised that you didn't find it too slow. I was afraid that you would.
I love a 7-10 mile hike in the woods.
That's true.
There's nothing about this movie that was going to feel too slow.
Okay, good.
Because I would say the slow parts are him walking through the woods.
And you enjoyed that.
And one, I enjoyed that. And two, that's where I think like he really hit a home run with the sort of taking the slasher to an artful place where it's like, it shows that's what that kind of character is all about. Again, you're kind of a machine. There is no other motive than to find these individuals that have done you wrong in whatever way and take them out. There's nothing. So realistically, what's Jason doing in the meantime, going from one character to the other? He's probably just fucking walking around somewhere, looking for the next person.
That's
so
very
that's
true.
why I find it very interesting that we see that sort of point of view. It's interesting to me that some people are finding that like so boring and like, oh my God, who wants to see someone do that? It's like, but that's what they do. So it's interesting to me that this movie like successfully kind of turns it on its head and is showing you like, okay, yeah, well, in between those kills, like he's doing. He's walking through the woods.
Yeah.
Like he has no other purpose than to commit these murders. And so in between them, he's walking. And it just so happened that he was walking in some beautiful woods.
Yes.
And that he was like a bigger fella, like heavier set fella, so that the sound of him walking was just so wonderful.
He was huge.
I mean, yeah, he was huge. I mean, like just a big, imposing, like intimidating presence. But like his footsteps carried weight, and you could hear the crunch of the leaves and like the woods detritus, and like, it was very nice.
It was filmed in Northern Ontario. So enjoy your trip to Canada. Try and get some nature time when you're there.
We'll get plenty of it. We're going to Vancouver Island, so we'll do some hiking.
Very good.
But yeah, I guess in summation, I really liked this. I'm going to give this movie probably like a 4.5 stars.
Oh, right. Very good.
And maybe that's because it was following such a dud for me, and I was just excited to be in a theater by myself and not hate the movie I'm watching. And that's after having really bad popcorn.
Why was it so bad?
It was so stale.
Oh.
It was so stale, I made an argument afterwards, and they gave me my money back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I pinched it right in front of them, and it like didn't even crisp in any way. I was like, this was terrible.
Yeah, and it's cost so much.
So much, but that's all right. It's
a
nice theater. It was nice and cool.
I went to the movies. It must have been to see, it was to see this. It was like 2 tickets, 1 popcorn, 2 slushies. It was like $58, $60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand it's theater season, and we're all all the movies are coming out in theaters, but I think me and our listeners would, we'd like a streamer in every once in a while. Because good God, is it expensive.
It's so expensive. So expensive.
Oof. But anyways, yeah, 4.5 stars. And I absolutely recommend this.
That's great. And do you think that this is, I would say no, not just for slasher fans.
No, not at all.
I think you have to have a familiarity with the genre.
Yes, I'm not a slasher fan.
But you have a good familiarity with the genre.
And I appreciate a number of slashers. It's just not my favorite, but I
think
really,
the best
really
slashers are amazing.
Yeah.
They're just not my typical.
Yep. No, I liked this one a lot.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. We'll make sure Kitty sees this.
Yeah, I think she'll like it.
Because she's a slasher fan.
Mm-hmm. I think so much of this worked. I really think it was an interesting exercise and a cool spin and a creative way to approach a slasher. Mm-hmm. I think, like Maniac, it comes at it at a different angle, and because of that, it kind of refreshes the genre. Because really, they haven't been doing anything to try and refresh this genre, except not since Scream. That's the only other thing they've tried,
That's not
it's to make it funny and self-referential.
I'm thinking like the remakes. Like, no, those are just remakes or like continuing on with Scream.
Right. There's nothing.
But yeah,
there hasn't been anything new since Kevin Williamson made Scream and Wes Craven. So to see something where they really tried to take it in a different direction, and I love the idea of melding what is arguably the stupidest subgenre with an art house film. Mm-hmm. I think that's really cool.
Yep, agreed.
It's like making a fancy dessert out of Oreos or Twinkies.
I mean, yeah, it's a challenge. So if you can pull it off even a little bit, like...
Right, and I don't think this is entirely successful. I don't think the ending worked very well, even though I thought that... I liked how it ended, but I didn't like the way that they chose to do it.
That's so funny. Same here.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that we get the stereotypical characters. We get each of those tropes, and we can see who would be the normal leads of the movie, the final girl and the ranger and stuff.
Yep.
But they're still not. But they're present, and that's really cool. Like all of the stuff is there. All of the setup and kills, the way that there's funny, kills that are related to the things that the people are doing or their character or whatever. So those are all elements from regular slashers, but they've done it in this way that I think is really creative and interesting. And we still get the same beats even that we get in a standard slasher. They're just happening in the periphery instead of in the main part of the plot, which is cool. Like the exposition dump and stuff. We still get to hear it. It's just not the centerpiece of the movie the way that it would be if this was a standard slasher.
Yep.
I think that the lack of the score and the stings and stuff was really effective. I think.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the humor worked really well. There was some subtle... the only thing I can say about this movie that might disappoint people is that it's not scary. And I don't need all of my horror movies to be scary, especially not slashers. I often don't find slashers scary. I think it's very rare.
I don't know that I've ever found a slasher scary.
I think the only one I can think of is Black Christmas.
Yeah, again, just the voice.
Just the voice, yeah. But still,
like, by nature,
scary.
they're just not... Yeah. They're not particularly scary.
And this one, I think that the reason for the low audience score is probably because there's no stingers. There's no jump scares. That's what people go to the movies to see.
They're expecting that. They're not wanting to see 8 minutes of somebody
walking through the
lumbering
woods.
through the woods and trying to think, like, why is this what I'm watching right now?
Right. So I can see why it wouldn't be mainstream popular. Mm-hmm. But there's cool little things, attention to detail things, like the way that the lake trap comes back into play. Or the what do you call those? Those snap traps. Those.
I knew that. Who?
Of course you did.
Immediately, as soon as he started running into the woods, I'm like, oh, homeboy's going to run into his own goddamn trap.
And of course, and it was very satisfying that he did.
Yes, it was.
And I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I liked the way that we were still able to get the little bits of dialogue and the music. And one of my favorite scenes was when he kills the guy with the Walkman. And as he's dragging him, we hear the batteries run down in the Walkman, and it starts to make the song slow and creepy and dirge-like.
Yep.
That was probably my favorite part.
That was very cool.
And the music playing from like the wrecked car and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. I don't think I liked it quite as much as you. I had really high hopes for this.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite meet my expectations. But again, like we were talking about earlier, sometimes when you revisit stuff, you're able to just settle into it and let it kind of wash over you and not be so critical. And I think that I'll probably enjoy it more at that time when I go back to it.
And I really do think my higher score is because of our last one being such a dud.
We haven't really liked, I haven't
last
either.
couple.
We did the 2 Nun movies. We didn't really care that much about those.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this one was just...
It was nice to see something a little more thoughtful.
And honestly, it was probably around a 4 when I started, but then I started talking about it more, and I was like, no, like, I feel like I liked this movie more than I thought I did.
Yeah, Kay always makes fun of me because we'll finish watching something, and then by the time she hears the podcast, I've gone up a star.
Mm-hmm. I don't always, but I feel like I definitely did on this one.
I originally thought of this as about a 3.5, but I think after we've talked about it, I'm going to rate it a 4.
Okay, so yeah, we're about the same.
And I also recommend it. I think it's a fun exercise. It's very pretty. I don't know that you necessarily need to see it in the theater.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, we should talk a little bit about this director, Chris Nash. This is his first feature. He started out as a special effects guy. And he did the creature effects for Psycho Goreman. He also played a character in Psycho Goreman, and he played a character in The Void. I think the guy's wife, once she gets like possessed by that or whatever, she turns into that giant monster. That was him. He also did a segment in ABCs of Death 2, Z is for Zygote, which I can't exactly remember. I was going to go back and look to see which one, but it's surprising to me that he did special effects, because the effects in this are not that flashy. I mean, they're good.
No, not at all.
But they're not that flashy. Mm-mm. And it's interesting because, that's what this guy is mainly known for, but he ended up making a really pretty, artistic-looking movie. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, I think.
For Psycho. I need to check that.
You gonna look up a synopsis real quick?
I mean, I can. Yeah. Hold on. Because, I totally know that title.
So do I. I just can't remember what it is.
Oh, yeah. It's a weird one where the woman is, chained inside and she crawls outside and she's pregnant. And then there's, she's super pregnant and then something, bursts from her.
Oh.
Yep. I remember that one. It's heavy on the special effects.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's Chris Nash. I am definitely excited to see what he does next.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I could really predict what he would do next. What would I like to see him do? Something pretty again.
Yeah, please do.
Maybe do something somebody else writes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I think that the dialogue in this was intentionally bad because I think they were trying to make it seem like a standard slasher.
Again, I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I just want to point out, it
was
is noticeably bad.
Yeah, yeah it is bad.
I didn't have any issue with it. It was fitting to the type of movie it was, but it was bad.
Twas
and
bad.
The delivery was bad.
Also bad.
Yep.
All right, so why don't we get into spoilers? That's 2 hearty recommends for In a Violent Nature, which is still in theaters and should probably be on streaming pretty soon.
I would imagine, because there were super limited times to go see it.
Yeah. Well, it came out the 31st. It's been out for a while now.
Oh, okay. That tracks then.
Yeah. So why don't we get into some spoilers? Basically, he kills everybody.
Yeah.
Except for the final girl. And favorite kill, Jamie?
It was the yoga kill.
The yoga kill. I laughed so hard.
It was so funny. It was so stupid and so funny. And not only was the kill itself very enjoyable, that he just like, she didn't say a word. It just like was staring out there like peacefully as he's hooking her and like getting her all set up to like pull her head through her abdomen and like get her in this pretzel yoga move. But then afterwards, like this all happens on this sort of cliff or embankment or whatever, like overlooking a lake in the woods. And after he kills her, he just like stands there and sighs as he's looking over the lake. And I was like, oh, I get it. It's like a moment of reflection and just you're at peace and things feel good and just move on.
That's right.
And like the whole scene was just very funny.
Was the dialogue prior to that what really bothered you?
I mean, that was part of it. Yeah, that was terrible.
I was really sad.
That scene was one of the worst, but even when they were like around the fire was bad.
Yeah, it was. Even the Ranger stuff was bad.
Like really, most of the dialogue between more than two people was rough.
Yeah, it was really bad. But I liked that they brought the Ranger in and it seemed like he was going to be the guy to come in and rescue everybody. And then he got killed immediately.
He wasn't going to. Yeah.
No.
Because he did the stupidest thing immediately. Like, why would you... Some dude who's afraid of this guy but knows what he's capable of is saying, you're telling him, chain up his legs. And he's saying, no, I can't. I don't give a shit, man. Go over there and put those chains on his legs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not handing you this gun. I'm not risking anything. Put those fucking chains on his leg. So, like, but again, slasher, everyone making stupid calls. You see it coming.
It's true.
But the Ranger death in spoiler territory is...
Yeah, we're in spoilers now. Go for it.
Is the worst one. It was
They
terrible.
really fumbled that.
It was a huge letdown.
Yeah, it's...
For a couple, multiple reasons.
You might have heard that there's a log splitter death in this, and I had heard that prior, and I was very excited about it. Because it's a log splitter. Hello.
Sure.
And it wasn't fun at all. The guy's paralyzed, first of all. He can't scream. He can't do anything but move his eyes.
Yeah.
So it's very quiet, of course, like everything else in the movie. But, I mean, it would have been scarier if he was screaming.
It would. And I feel like in our discussion of this movie during recording, like, my thinking is if that scene were done during, like, an 80s slasher, would it have been done similarly? And I think it would have been. I think there would have been minimal yelling because I feel like all the ones I can remember sneaking and watching when I was a kid were very much like focused on the effects and the gore of it. And there wasn't so much that like yelling. And I think because we're so used to sort of like more intense horror.
Like the Saw movies.
And the Saw movies now that we almost have been conditioned to expect that the like tortured yells and cries of pain and that sort of thing in order to feel like in order to sort of experience as a viewer what that person is feeling.
Yeah.
And we've sort of like gotten away from just the shock of the physical part that's happening.
Oh, that's true.
So even though like it felt disappointing to me, I truly think that's because I've seen so many movies that are the other way, where there's so much physical and like visceral reaction and people yelling and there's like a vocal response to it that when you go back and watch a Jason early on, like sure there's maybe a yelp or a scream, but like, or even a Freddy Krueger, like a lot of stuff happens without a lot of physical reaction from people.
And I think practically a lot of it is because right before they get, their head chopped off or split in half or whatever, they're a dummy. So you can't...
Exactly.
You can't film them screaming.
And that was another thing that I was going to say in this movie that really bothered me when I was watching it. But now, like later upon reflection, I'm kind of like, all right, well, that maybe tracks. Is that like before he puts his head on the thing to get that cut off on the log splitter, he puts his arm up there. And it is incredibly obvious that is a fake arm.
Yes.
Like you see you see it near his chest where it's a prosthetic. But also, like, so that bothered me while I was watching it. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, that's not super atypical from, like, movies
Certainly
you would
not.
see. Because you wouldn't have seen anything crazier than that before. So you would have been so focused on the blade of the wood splitter and the, like, blood that's happening there. You wouldn't be caring about the lack of screaming. And you wouldn't be caring about, like, the fakeness, quote unquote, that you're seeing of the prosthetic. So it's like, it almost forces you as an afterthought to sort of, like, harken back to that and be like, but remember when this was enough? But remember when, like, you didn't need to actually believe that someone was being tortured in order to feel something and, like, be scared?
No, Jamie, I don't remember that.
I know, I don't either, obviously. But, like, remember what it could be just about, like, fun effects and, like, the fun idea. So it's like, I'm kind of, like, turning around on that whole thing. But I admit, like, in my viewing of it, I expected more because we've seen more. We've seen the Hostels. We've seen the Saws. We've seen the Saws, not
Bone
Saws.
Tomahawk.
We've seen Bone Tomahawk. Like, we've seen Martyrs. We've seen shit where people are, like, put in insane situations and have very human, realistic reactions to them. And this movie was just giving us the fun, like...
Yeah. Well, I still say they should have put him on
effects.
there and split him from crotch to neck.
Oh, 100%. That should have happened.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what I wanted to happen. It's just was out. Because wasn't that in one of the Terrifier movies?
It might have been.
Like, I'm pretty sure someone was, like, split.
Somebody was split in Bone Tomahawk.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I mean, I know I've seen it before, so it's like, you guys can do it too. Like, you've got a wood splitter. Why is that not your first move?
Right.
But it makes me a bit more forgiving of those parts of the, like, tampering down of the physical reaction of things,
that's fair.
and being more forgiving of, like, seeing that it was an obviously prosthetic arm. It kind of makes me appreciate it more and think that this guy Chris Nash, like, has a true love of old slashers that he's building on and trying to, like, you know, refer back to and use.
I think he probably does,
but also still very successfully creating a beautiful, like, art house type movie.
Agreed. Now let's talk about the ending.
Yeah, let's talk about the ending.
I didn't like that they switched the point of view to the final girl for the end.
No, I didn't love that.
I would have liked him to have just watched that happen instead.
Yeah,
I don't think that
here.
would have hurt anything.
Nope. And that was my thought at the end too. It's like, oh, I wish he was just, like, viewing this through the woods.
Right.
As the truck went by, and then that was just the end. Like, he was done. He completed his thing.
Right. Did he get his locket back?
Yeah, he did, because it showed the gas can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't on there.
That's right. So he completed his mission. So he should have just, maybe we hear her in the background or see her in the background getting picked up by the truck, and he just like goes back into the ground or something.
Yeah, having that long of an ending scene was kind of odd.
I don't understand why he chose to switch to her point of view at the end.
No.
I mean, it did give a little bit of peril. You know, there was some suspense at would he come walking out of the woods, and the fact that they ended it with her just continuing to look as if, you know, she's going to be watching for him to come after her for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if the whole movie was a regular slasher, but it's not.
Right.
It's
that
this
could have
other
been done
thing.
a little better.
I think they should have ended it how we said. Mm-hmm. I wish he would have consulted us first.
I mean, my favorite part about the ending was where this traumatized, very injured woman who comes stumbling out of the woods is rescued by this older woman driving a truck. She picks her up, puts her in said truck, and drives her to presumably a hospital. And what she decides is an appropriate thing to talk about is some traumatic fucking story about her brother going in the woods and getting attacked and almost killed by a bear. And it's the world's longest story. And
that was weird.
I was just like, lady, read the room. Like, she's traumatized. She
maybe just put the radio on.
Just, put on, like, just some country
put Delilah
or something.
on.
Yeah, even better. But, like, why are you telling this about a bear, like, mauling your brother?
Yeah.
Good God. That's funny. And then she's like, oh, I gotta stop because you're bleeding all over my car. It's like, just go. I think the ending was pretty clunky, but, like, by that point, I was already happy, so whatever.
Yeah. He could have stuck the landing better.
He could have, for sure.
I still think as a whole it was very good.
Yeah, same.
Listeners, we would love to hear what you thought about In a Violent Nature. I just heard from our friend Soren Narnia of Knife Point Horror, and he really liked this movie.
Oh,
just
good on him.
Yeah. So, what's coming up next? Oh, I should mention that I started reading Devil in the White City again. Well, I didn't just start. I'm like halfway through. More than halfway now.
Is it as good on a reread?
It is.
Of course it is.
I'm actually enjoying it even more because before, when I first read it, I was kind of going as fast as I could through the architecture and construction of the World's Fair bits so that I could get to the H.H. Holmes bits. And this time I'm enjoying both parts equally.
Nice. That's so funny. I was sort of the opposite. In my first read anyways, whereas like I loved the architecture World's Fair bit a lot. And that was just, the other part was a second thought. And then my second reread, I was the other way.
He's a good storyteller. He does a good job of cramming a lot of history in and still making it feel like a novel, you know?
Yep. I love his books.
That's Eric Larson, who wrote Devil in the White City.
Yep.
So if you guys haven't read that, it's about the Chicago World's Fair that happened in the 1890s. And H.H. Holmes, the serial killer who was active during that time. And the chapters alternate back and forth between the creation of the fair and Holmes's exploits.
It's honestly so good.
Yeah, and there's an audiobook available also. So if you're looking for something to read, I don't normally do nonfiction, but it's a very fiction-y nonfiction.
I think that's what's so accessible about him is that it's fiction-y nonfiction, for lack of a better phrase. I think he has a new one.
I think he does too, but I don't know what it is.
It's on my library list, but
very good.
There's one about the sinking of the
Lusitania.
I loved that.
I didn't read that one. I've only read this one in the Garden of Beasts.
Oh, well, the Lusitania one is really good.
Was that one called Dead Wake?
Yes, Dead Wake.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta read that one. So for our next movie, my mama is coming to visit, and I'm taking some time off work. So I'm going to be indisposed. It's also over my birthday. So we are going to be putting out a rerun. I thought I would do an old episode because I know that you guys, if you listen through like Apple Podcasts or whatever, are only able to access the most recent 100 episodes. And as you know, we have many more than that. So I was thinking I'd go back and do an old episode. If you have any suggestions on an old one that you would like me to repost, obviously they're all on our website, thebloodlust.net, but if you don't go there and you want something old that we've done, we've reviewed lots of the big horror movies from the past 10 years, so send suggestions our way. You can send those at thebloodlust.net. Leave a comment on this post. You can tag us on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you want. Or put it on our page on either of those.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just pick one.
And then, after that, we are going to be reviewing Maxxxine.
Yay.
Because that is coming out soon, and we're excited. But none more excited than for Long Legs. I'm very excited for Long Legs.
I have very high hopes.
I have very high hopes. I hope I'm not going to be disappointed by that one.
Nothing I've read tells me that I will be, but I've been fooled before.
Me too. We've both been hurt before.
Yeah.
But we'll be doing that one after Maxxxine. So stay tuned for all of those. Also, let us know if you've seen Watchers and what you thought of it. We were maybe going to review it, but I've been hearing lots of bad stuff.
Been hearing nothing good.
Violently bad stuff.
Like literally nothing remotely good.
So let us know if you've seen it. I'm curious. Anything else to add, Jamie?
No, happy Father's Day to any fathers out there who are listening.
Yes, happy Father's Day to you. You will be hearing this a day late, but happy Father's Day on the Monday.
Nonetheless, yeah.
Yeah.
Observed.
That's right. All right, Jamie, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Listeners, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. with a rerun episode. Don't be upset. And then we'll be back. And until then, I've been Amy.
I'm Jamie.
Thank you for listening, and good night.
Good night.